Back in 2017, Squarespace grandfathered people into their pricing plans, which meant that if you signed up to a plan, you would keep that price forever, or so they said. This month, my clients and I started getting renewal emails with increases of up to 26%, and it's not the first time. Today, I'm going to talk about what changed, how I'm handling it across the 1,000 sites in my dashboard, and whether you should be telling your clients to downgrade. That last one has a caveat, so stick around. Welcome back to Dear Christy, where you send me your Squarespace and web design questions, and I answer them with decades of opinions. Here's today's question. I'm curious how you're handling the recent Squarespace pricing increases. Have you had pushback from clients? Are you proactively communicating the changes or waiting for them to notice at renewal? And are you recommending clients downgrade if they're not using the features on their plan? Great question. Let's take it in three parts: what I think, what I'm doing, and what I'd recommend you do. So, in early July 2026, Squarespace announced a price increase for sites billed in US dollars. The one that hit my inbox hardest was annual core plans and legacy business plans. Went from $276 a year to $348 a year. That is a 26% jump. And how do I feel about it? A little salty. And I'll tell you why. When I went all in on Squarespace in 2018, part of the pitch was they'd honor the pricing you signed up at. That messaging faded away a few years ago, and we've been seeing regular price hikes. The product is still good, and it's still the best for my use case and the clients that I work with. But the company ethos I signed up under has changed, and that's the part that's disappointing. And at the same time, I get it. Everything costs more right now, and Squarespace isn't doing anything unusual. Framer restructured its whole pricing model last fall. Webflow's plans and add-ons have crept up too. Price changes are affecting the entire industry. So here's where my saltiness creeps back in, though. When Framer or Webflow charge more, I can at least point at what they've shipped, especially on the AI side for both of those platforms recently. What has Squarespace shipped? Beacon AI, which so far has done approximately 0 things to make my life easier as a designer. I can also rotate a block now. That's fun, and it's also not worth 26%. Now, the part of this question I loved: am I proactively communicating this to clients? I actually found out about the increase right before the emails went out. So Squarespace sent me one big email listing changes right as the renewal notices were about to go out. So no, I did not get ahead of it. But the reason I'm not scrambling is because of my business model. So my business model is a full handoff. I build the site, and if it's a custom build, I train the client. But even if it's a template build out, either way, when we launch, the site is theirs. No maintenance plans, no retainers. They know they can re-engage me at any time, and some do. But with all the sites in my dashboard, I'm not going to personally walk every past client through a pricing change. I've got people that I did hourly work for, people that were a designer for a day, template build outs, custom websites. Over 6 or 7 years, that's a lot of websites. So for me, the ball is in their court on purpose. And this is just how my services are structured. We talk about it during discovery and during the project and at offboarding. But if your business model is different, your answer should be different. If clients are paying you a monthly retainer or a maintenance fee, they are paying you to watch for things exactly like this. So you should take a look at each client and send individual emails. So my rule of thumb is that your communication should match what you promised at offboarding. If you said, I've got you, get them. If you said, it's yours now, that's what you lean into. All right, the downgrade question. Should clients drop to a cheaper plan if they're not using all the features? For my clients, almost never. And this is the caveat that I mentioned at the start. Nearly every site I build launches on the core plan. So to save money, you drop to the basic plan. But the Squarespace Basic plan has some weird limitations. There's no announcement bar, no promotional pop-ups, and there are code limitations, which means that if you had code customizations on your website, those might stop working depending on how you wrote them and where you put them. And you're capped at just 2 contributors who can access the site. So most of those are features normal small business sites use. And if a client downgrades to save $6 or $7 a month, their announcement bar disappears or custom code stops working. And then you get a confused email because their website broke. So here's how I think about downgrades. If you run maintenance plans or have clients on retainers, add a plan audit to your next check in. Look at what they use. If someone's paying for Plus and doesn't sell anything, that is definitely worth a conversation. If you fully offboarded like me, it depends on what you told them when you handed off the site. It's their call, and they may have already changed plans at some point, but your door stays open for questions and for future work. And if a client asks you directly, be sure to walk them through what they lose if they downgrade. Saving a few dollars might not be worth removing features. So that's where I've landed. I'm salty about the broken promises, sympathetic about the economics, but I'm not losing sleep over it either. Squarespace at $29 a month is still the best fit for me and my clients and my business. And that's really what matters. So if you're a web designer and you want to hear how other designers are handling this is exactly the kind of thing we talk about inside the Web Design Roundtable, my community on School. There's a link in the description. And if you have a question for a future Dear Christy, send it my way. The slightly spicy ones are my favorite, as you can probably tell. I'll drop a link below. Thanks for watching, and I wish you all the best with your web design business.